Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Come back again with me, Davina Aisyiyah. My ID number 19320026 and the time is same with. And now I will explanation about negative from sinetron in television. Okay, I will talk about the negative impact caused by sinetron operas on television to behavior of teenagers. By paying attention to the rampant extensions of sinetron operas broadcast on television station, it is necessary for us to be able to interpret the sinetron operas that are displayed from the contents of the source mentioned, but from the contents of the story, the setting and the characterization. Based on this discourse, we will look at the extent of the negative impact that will affect the behavior of teenagers today and how we can prevent this influence as early as possible. I come to my opinion, which is a meaningful input for parents and educators as well as policy makers in order to anticipate the negative impact of television, especially sinetron opera broadcast for our teenagers. Almost all private TV stations always broadcast sinetron operas about the world of children, especially teenagers, which is the main cause for them. The target of this teenager has a very high potential to attract sympathy for the sinetron opera. This is based on the number of teenagers in our country among Indonesia 2,048 million people, from the number of teenage sinetron operas available. It turned out that soap operas with interesting stories and education feeling are very lacking. Most of the teen operas that air were not very educational. Teen sinetron operas that are busy showing on Indonesian television are dominated by conflict that do not depict a polite life that is in accordance with the national culture. The story is filled with fighting over boyfriend, consumptive life attitudes, and modern and Western lifestyle such as clubbing and kongko. Sinetron operas impose certain values that influence culture in society. According to the Flair 1970 in Mulyana 2008, reveals the culture norms theory, the culture theory, that in the mass media, short is selective presentation and its emphasis on certain themes, creates and set culture's norm from its audience. Judging from the story itself, most of teen sinetron operas that are often used in the television use a similar formula, namely the very complex love problem with the addition of a few family problems and infidelity. The presence of a family atmosphere in teen sinetron operas is like a dream. Apart from being unrealistic, most teen sinetron operas portray women and men in a xenotypical way. Women are described as weak, whiny, observant, not independent, and dependent on men. Meanwhile, male adolescents are described as strong, though powerful, independent, and protective, but full of violence. Luxury in soap opera setting is compelling. The soap operas that were presented were about teenagers from wealthy families with beautiful and handsome characters. Nice cars, expensive clothes, which seemed to be a must for teenagers in the soap operas. Aspect of sexuality can be seen from the way the players dress, their sexual attractiveness, to the expression of love between them, which tend to be vulgar, from holding hands, kissing, to hugging affectionately like a couple wife. Sex in our teen soap operas is discussed in a cheerful and unobstructed atmosphere. Okay, thank you. If there are any wrong words at my speech, I said sorry about that. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.